All right, welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast, and this is going to be a review for The House with Clocks in Its Walls, directed by Eli Roth, who is one of James's favorite directors.
Motherfucker. I knew this shit was going to be bad now.
And it's written by Eric Kripke, based off of a book by John Bellairs by the same name, and it stars Jack Black, Kate Blanchett, and Owen Vaccaro, and the synopsis is: a young orphan named Louis Barnevelt aids his magical uncle in locating a clock with the power to bring about the end of the world. So the movie starts off with the character Louis, based in the 1950s. He is being dropped off to his uncle, who is Jack Black. His uncle's just a little off. He kind of lives in this house that it's an older style house. He has a weird neighbor who is Kate Blanchett. Uncle used to be a magician. One night, he sees that his uncle is looking for something in the middle of the night, notices that he has a lot of clocks, and that's kind of where we'll stop. Matt, what did you think of The House with Clocks in Its Walls?
I thought the movie was a solid movie. The reason why I said it's solid is that if you actually divide this movie in half, first half of the movie I thought was actually pretty excellent, did a good job as far as creating an environment similar to Harry Potter with its own mythology and its own quirks and weirdness to it. The second half of the movie, I felt that it was very, very lazy writing, and it was probably at a point where folks were like, you know what, fuck it. Let me just go ahead and throw in this plot and then call it a day. So I wouldn't watch it again. Watching it for the first time, I found it enjoyable. It's just the last half was just very, very lazy writing, unimaginative, and I would have done better just walking out half of the movie and then come up with my own ending.
Yeah, I will say that the very end of the movie, the last 10 minutes, or the quickest last 10 minutes, in the movie, everything's happy again. What I thought about this movie is that it was okay, but this is the world post-Harry Potter, so at some point there were a lot of movies like this. You can think about the Spiderwick Chronicles or Miss Peregrine's, Percy Jackson, and the whole thing always involves a child with an adult that opens up this whole magical world to them, and they have to defeat a single person, overcome some obstacle or some personal challenge in their life. In this case, main character loses both of his parents in a car crash, and he has to overcome that and then also defeat the main enemy. It's not any different than anything that you would have seen, or try to think of other movies like that. Harry Potter and maybe the Chronicles of Narnia set that tone for what those types of movies should be. Everyone that had the possibility of getting a book rights to a movie started producing movies like this, and this is one of those middle of the road movies. So again, I do kind of echo the sentiment that you said about the later half of the movie, when they figure out who's responsible for this, why is all this random stuff happening. The movie just says, all right, fast forward to the end. The movie's about an hour and 45 minutes. I don't think it's that long. So maybe it could have used extra 10 minutes. Maybe it could have been 2 hours. Maybe it could have had a little bit better direction. And for a kid's movie, I would say that it was kind of scary. So there's a lot of dolls or stuffed animals or clocks in this case that all have come to life at some point. So there's things like that. I guess some of the kids in the movie theater I was in found it enjoyable, but I didn't really think too much of it. Matt, what score would you give The House with Clocks in Its Walls?
I'd give it a 6, mainly because the beginning of the movie turned out pretty well, but just the last part is just lazy writing. The end of the movie is something that a 6-year-old probably came up with, and then they just took it and ran with it. But if they finished that off stronger, I probably would have given it a greater score. I wouldn't see it again, although if they do come out with a sequel, would like to see that movie. Hopefully they can improve on their beginning of their universe that it seems like they're creating.
It seems like they're trying to come up with a whole new universe for this, and post Harry Potter, any of these movies, Maze Runner, like all this stuff, it just gets to a point where you're just seeing the same movie over and over again, just with different characters, different settings, different time periods. Again, this one's set in the 50s. This movie isn't terrible. It isn't that great, so it's just a middle of the road type of movie like this. If it comes on TNT, TBS, FX, all right, watch it. You'll forget about it immediately afterwards. So I'm going to give this a 5. It's not terrible.
Not at all.
Yeah, I've seen this movie before. when it was called something else differently. Here's some magical world a child has to live in. It's all formulaic, and again, it's directed by Eli Roth. James, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, I understand a person wanting to get out their comfort zone and do something a little different. His thing is horror movie suspense, off the wall type movies, things like that, torture porn.
Yeah, and again, it does have some scary moments in it, but we're talking about Cabin Fever, we're talking about Hostel.
Right, and Knock Knock and all this other stuff.
The Green Inferno.
Yeah. But this just not up his alley, but you did say they did have some elements of
horror
in it. So
yeah, but kind of funny is that the movie that came before this that he had done was Death Wish. So this is a complete 180. Even
he's trying to branch out.
Yeah, he's like, please, I need to pay my bills. So
ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, it's just another one of these movies, and that's Beast Game Podcast.